This is part 4 of the Rubik's Revenge Blindsolve tutorial. I left off in the last video on how to solve this edge piece in the E location. It also works the same way with the R location. I gave you the 2 algorithms in the last video. If you don't remember them, look back at the other video and get them down. One is just the inverse of the other, so if you know one, you should know the other. It's just the opposite. So, here's how I explained it. The first algorithm, I didn't actually explain it that well, so I'm going to explain it better. The first algorithm, what it does, it takes this piece, swaps it with this one, and sends the piece over here. The second algorithm will do actually just the opposite. It takes this piece, swaps it out with this one, and sends the piece up here. Okay? Now, at the same time, it's also rotating all your centers to keep that center movement going. That way nothing changes. It follows the same pattern. So, originally my centers were in this position, all around the cube. I told you to make sure you know what they look like. But since I did my B move to get rid of my solved edge piece, all my centers are wrong now. Okay? So truly, like if I do this, I want to put, like, this is technically location E. After I do the 2 turns, location E technically moves down here. This is where I want to get this edge piece. Okay? It's because once I perform the algorithm, it'll swap all the centers and put them back to normal. And if I perform the second algorithm, it'll swap it with this piece and put it up here. I'm sorry if you didn't explain that, if you didn't understand that, but that's really the explanation. You want to solve it so your edge piece landing in this location or this location will end up being solved by the time your centers are done. So basically, this is what I mean. I'm going to try to explain it a little better. My centers are wrong at this point. Performing either the R2 move or one of the 2 algorithms is going to solve the centers. Okay? Meaning, if I did the first algorithm, and I put this edge piece up there, and it swaps out to down here, like I said, this edge piece is technically going to be wrong, because all your centers are solved again, and this edge piece is wrong. And remember, these 2 edges switch with the R2 move as well. So, what you have to do is you have to make sure that this edge will always fall into place with the centers correctly. So, this is what happens when you memorize. You can either remember, I remember as E positive or E negative, because there's 2 different algorithms, and same with R positive, R negative. If it's an E positive, I do the first algorithm. If it's an R positive, I do the second algorithm. For some reason, I find that to be easier. Most people will probably just think positive first algorithm, negative second. But that's how I remember it. So I see this, and I would normally memorize this as E negative. I do the second algorithm for E. So I think, okay. Or you could simply remember as positive, negative. It doesn't matter. So I think, okay, this piece technically has to go up here, but I'm going to swap it out to here, because when the algorithm's done, it swaps with this, puts the edge piece up here, and it will be correct with all the centers. So I'm going to do the first algorithm, F. Lowercase d just means the down slice, and perform it clockwise. R-U-R-I. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry, I'm doing the first algorithm. Probably confused a few of you. Sorry about that. You're going to do the second algorithm, which is R2, F, R-U-R-I, lowercase d, sorry I twisted that the wrong way, lowercase d, R-U-I-R-I, D-I, F-I. And as you can see now, it's solved with all the correct centers. Now, if you perform the, if you had to do it to, I want to explain this a different way. If you had all your centers solved and you did one of the 2 algorithms, your centers should be wrong, and so should the edge piece you attempted to place. Whether it be E or R, it should be wrong. Okay? It's very complicated to explain, so I'm sorry I can't help you too much with that. Just play around with it a bit. You should be able to figure it out on your own. Alright, you're going to continue with the edges from here. This edge piece needs to go to location L. Back here, I believe. Just want to make sure. I always use my finger to guide it. It has to go to location L. So my second move is R, B-I, R-I-B, 2 R's, B-I, R, I feel like I'm doing this wrong, B-I-R, B, R, I. Nope, that's right. Alright, this next one has to go to location N. The setup move would be U, R, U, I. R2. Just undo that. This has to go to location A. A is on the L slice, meaning you have to do that large setup move. Normally you would take any edge on the L slice, put it into the A location. Since this is the A location, you don't have to do that. So we do your BI, RB, U, R2, UI, R2 move, U, R2, UI, BI, RI, B. You're going to notice, at this point, my centers are wrong. You see my edge pieces down here that I originally placed up here. The white, red, E location piece. That's going to happen. Because as you do the R2 move, it swaps to the other center all the time. Now, I have to get this edge piece technically into this location. Alright, this is edge piece R. Now, if you look, my centers are swapped again. My centers, I've done the R2 move, and all my centers on the R slice are wrong. So, normally, if all the centers were right, you would use the second algorithm for R. But since all the centers are wrong, you do the first one, because what it'll do, it'll take it, swap it out with this one, and put it down here. So it'll be in the correct location, and all the centers will be right. Alright, so you do the first one. Just F, lowercase d, R-U-R-I, lowercase d-I, R-U-I-R-I, F-I, R2. And there it is. Solved back here. And this one's solved again. This one has to go to location K. U, R-I, U-I. Just undo it. This one goes to location Q. Q is on the L slice. So if I do an L slice turn, I get location Q up here. Do the setup move. And there you go. It's solved down there. This one has to go to location T, which would be B-I-R-I-B. B-I-R-B. This one has to go to location B, just an R2 move. And I believe I have all my edges solved. Yep, I have all my edges solved on the cube. And I got lucky. All my R slice center edges are back to normal from when they were started. You may end up in a position like this. You may be put into this position like me that I set myself up for. You may still have your centers on your right slice unsolved, like rotated 180 degrees, and these two edges unsolved. If you get put into a position like this, you get put into what I call 4x4 edge parity. What 4x4 edge parity is when you have, basically, you have your, it's like I explained, you have your two centers still unsolved, and all these centers are unsolved still. Now, this is probably the hardest part, well, the second hardest part of 4x4 blind solving. The hardest part are your centers. This is the next hardest part. Swapping these two edges and solving your centers again. Okay? There's no actual way I could find to fix this. I had to find my own method. So, the way I do it has an actual side effect. When you start memorizing the cube, if you discover that you have this parity, then you have to remember that by the time you're done fixing the parity, all these four centers on the bottom from the start, like these four centers are going to be swapped. This is what these four centers look like at the start of the cube. They're all going to be rotated 180 degrees on the bottom. I couldn't figure out how to fix that. I tried really hard, but that's the best I can do. So basically, what this is going to do, it's going to take all of the centers on this slice, turn them 180 degrees, then you're going to switch these two centers and rotate all those, switch those two edges and rotate all those centers 180 degrees. So here's what you're going to have to do. You take the algorithm, the first algorithm I taught you, the one used to swap out that piece and put that edge piece and put it down there. It's the F, D, R, U, R. I'm not going to go too much. Use that algorithm. I'm about to run out of time, actually, so I'm going to explain this in the next part. This is the part 4 on how to blind solve the Rubik's Revenge. Thanks for watching.